Hello and welcome to our JumboCast presentation of Game 2 of the UAA Winter Challenge here at Cousins Gymnasium. Game 1 saw Tufts take down the University of Rochester 77-55, and now we have a highly anticipated matchup between the 6-1 Brandeis University judges and the 3-4 Bates College Bobcats. My name's David Latham. Joining me on the mic for all the technical analysis, my good friends and compatriots, Jake Flossie and Nick Shore. Gentlemen, we've talked a bit about this matchup. This is one we've seen in the UAA Challenge, this same sort of midseason tournament in past years. Jake, quickly walk me through last season's matchup between these two teams.
Yes, last season we saw the Brandeis judges come out on top 68-58 over the Bates Bobcats. Coincidentally, the exact same score happened the year before, where Brandeis won 68-58. Bates, top performance, Kravitz put up 17 points, Bajan put up 12, 6 from 8 from the three line for Kravitz. On the Brandeis side, we saw Uise put up 18 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds. Bender alongside that, putting up 15 points and 3 steals. The judges were able to get a somewhat comfortable victory. We'll be hoping to continue that today.
Yeah, Nick, one advantage with this Bates team today, so far how it's been for them this season, has been their transition play. Tell me about how strong they are there.
Yeah, they've been super strong in transition. Obviously, this season they have 40 points off turnovers in the past 3 games. We saw them be effective, especially in transition, something they did well against Bowdoin and something they're going to likely do here as well. They're going to try and capitalize on Brandeis' mistakes and just in general, solid defense from them to cause turnovers, cause steals. They had 23 in the last 3 games, and they're going to keep or try to keep doing that against the Brandeis judges.
And on the other side, one thing that jumps out when you look at the stat sheet for this Brandeis team, it almost looks like a typo when you're on their website, has been their three-point shooting percentages as a group so far this season.
Certainly, they are shooting exceptionally from the perimeter. 46% three-point shooting, which is unheard of. Very impressive for the team. And 14.3 three-pointers a game as well. They're really shooting a lot. And there's 2 players particularly who have been really powerful from the perimeter. Toby Harris shooting a 52% clip, having converted a large amount of three-point shots. And then Elias Rodel, 70% from 3, which if you think about that, you like maybe he's only shot maybe 10 shots. He shot 24 three-pointers, made 17 of them. He's been remarkable from the perimeter this season.
Yeah, talking about Elias Rodel, I mean, these are 2 teams with three-point shooting power. He has been a leader on the three-point side for this team. Only 1 game this season has he shot below 50% from three-point. I mean, the efficiency is absurd. That 1 game was the game against Babson. That's their 1 loss. He has 27 points against Framingham State in their last game on 6 for 8 three-point shooting. And as you mentioned, Jake, 17 for 24 on the season. He was on the German U20 national team, played 2 seasons at St. Vincent. Not your usual sort of path to the 6-man position on a UAA team, but he has been working well for the squad off the bench this season. Meanwhile, on the other side, Brady Coyne, a very similar sort of stat line in his game against Ohio Wesleyan, 29 points on 8 for 10 from three-point, which is unheard of. That's Steph Curry numbers. 21 for 42 on the season. That's 500. Also remarkably high, especially given his low 42 shots. And then one that sticks out from the free throw line. 25 for 26. From where I'm from, we call that automatic.
Certainly a player you can trust from that free throw line. He's had an exceptional season in Coyne.
And now the starting lineups coming out onto the court for Bates is Tina Sparks, Coyne, Say Hodges, and went back in. Meanwhile, on the Brandeis side, Toby Harris, Aiden Using, Ethan Edwards, Sam Odise, and Jay Pande. And the players I was missing for Bates will be Sean O'Leary and number 23, the sophomore Babakar Bowie.
Bowie's been a phenomenal player for the Bobcats this season, leading the team in points per game and just been really consistent. He's had double digits in all but 1 game, which is the only game which was that game where Coyne put 29.
Bowie wins the jump, and it'll come back to O'Leary.
A little bit of
Setting it up. Bowie takes it along the blue line.
a little bit of a surprise to not see Elliot Kravitz start for the Bobcats, maybe hoping to come in later as a more momentum shift. But if I were head coach of the Bates Bobcats, John Furbush, I probably would have started Elliot Kravitz right away.
Kravitz, an interesting player, only started 3 games, only played in 3 games this season, but has been important in those 3 games and was a big player for them last season.
Bowie working on using in the post. Forced back to the three-point line, and that one's way short.
This Using Bowie matchup will be a very interesting one to watch. Using was UAA Defensive Player of the Year last season. Has been very, very strong for the Dice judges, but Bowie, a challenging attacking player of his own right.
You talk about that Defensive Player of the Year award, Jake. You can see why he has it. So far this season, 10 blocks. The next on the team is 2. He does basically everything except big scoring for this team. 25 assists, second on the team, high in rebounding.
You certainly need a player like that who does everything on the defensive end, but allows your players, your Harrises, your Rodals, to excel on that offensive front.
A dream teammate, really, for any basketball player. Kind of guy who sets you up in all those positions with passing, second chance looks, and stops on it.
And it's good to see the UAA recognizing that as well, because sometimes players like that, they don't get the recognition they deserve, but getting that award is a big accomplishment for him.
Respondé. Juicing outside the three-point line. Edwards drives to his left, gets a little space. Brandeis looking all around the perimeter, and they can't find anything.
And this Bates team's not afraid to stick a hand in there to try to disrupt things. We saw in that graphic coming in that they have outstole their opponents 10 by 10 this last 3-game stretch where they have gotten these wins. So they're not afraid to try and make some things happen in there.
I'll undoubtedly also be a little curious how Bates plans to shut down the perimeter shooting today. We know Brandeis is obviously super effective at it. They struggled to have it there in that last possession.
O'Leary to the bucket and gets it to go, and setting it up was a thunderous block off the backboard from Babacar Pui.
Oh, yeah, it was a great play by Pui to set up that fast break play, and we see Bates immediately hitting on the break, heading on the counter, and that's going to be something they're going to look to exploit in this game today. Another chance of that.
Harris forced back into his own half by O'Leary. Drives to his left. Turnaround. Finds Using outside. Doesn't want it. Harris will want it. And no good. Front iron.
Bates
Edwards fighting for the rebound. Gets it. Back outside. Harris will get a chance at redemption, and he cashes.
Harris no surprises there to see Toby Harris sink that three-pointer. Again, any chance they have, Bates bounces back, doesn't find it, though.
And as we said, Brady Coyne, when you leave him that open on a break, doesn't miss those often. Brandeis sort of getting away with one there.
Bates playing a man today. I'd be surprised if they ever shifted into a zone defense just to try and shut down that shooting outside the three-point ring.
Sparks taking it across the timeline. Hodges. Oh, miscommunication with Pui, who was looking to cut. But now it'll work out for him. Wide open underneath. Makes Using jump and gets the bucket.
Pui in these last 2 games as well has been excellent for the Bobcats. 23 and 19 in his last 2, especially when Coyne has been in foul trouble. He's been able to step up and really provide for this Bobcats team.
Using another pump fake outside, doesn't want it. Edwards does. From the corner, both rims no. Harris rebound. Edwards, again, second chance 3. Got it! And 2 plays in a row. Not in a row, but nearby. Brandeis missed the 3. The same shooter got it back and made it count.
And we see they're not afraid to take these attempts. They shoot a lot of three-pointers in a game. They average 14 a game, and they're not afraid to really take a chance on the perimeter.
Nice drive into the center from Sparks, and he gets to go off the glass. I do say. Recollects. Brandeis trying to move it around the perimeter. Using. Hodges all the way out on him. Edwards. Deshpande, little 2-dribble move. Pull back! And that is silky smooth from Jayan Pandey.
And with something that highlighted coming in this game, the Brandeis are going to shoot a lot of threes. All 3 buckets they have so far from the three-point line.
Sloppy drop off from O'Leary, but Pui recollects. Point around his screen, driving. Meets Using in the post and works it back out. Sparks looking to create something on Aduse, cannot. Brandeis being encouraged to run. Edwards back outside. Using. Harris. Using, posting up on Syhagis. Swings it to the corner and just a little off its topping. Deshpande can't collect.
Rodel check-in for the judges. Player we really highlighted in this pregame show. He can do a lot of damage from that three-point line, 70% of the season, alongside just being a very consistent contributor for this Brandeis team. Only 1 game this season where he was below double digits, and that was a 9-point game in his first game. So expect him to put up some numbers tonight.
Elias, one of 2 players on this Brandeis squad from Germany. Thought that was a little unique. Typically, we laugh about the other side being players only from one state on a team, and often a majority one state here in Massachusetts, especially. Not the case on this Brandeis team. Fairly diverse around the East Coast and internationally, for that matter, as well.
To the bucket is Deshpande, and a little bit of contact from Pui will keep it here. Meanwhile, Ben Leach into the lineup, taking up Pui after the personal.
Going to be a timeout taken here. As we've seen a bit of a back and forth first start. Took a while for points to get on the board, but it's been kind of what we expected. We've seen Bates try to hit on the break. We've seen Brandeis take shots at from deep, get those 3-pointers, and I think we could have written this ourselves if we knew coming into the game it would look like this.
Yeah, going into this game, I was certainly curious what the momentum would look like in the beginning, and I think the answer is watching for the Bates roster, Babacar Pouye. And if he's firing on all cylinders, we know this is going to be a dynamic Bates team, and they're going to put up a fight. They're not going to be a team that these judges can slam down really easily. In contrast, obviously, on the judges' side, we know if Toby Harris and Elias Rodel are firing, and firing from outside the three-point line as well, then it is going to be a matchup for sure.
Monday. Forced to the outside by O'Leary. Harris on the wing. Strong drive. Forced to turn around, though. Bates doing well to keep them out of the inside until Elias Rodel way too high off the glass. Syhagis one-on-one with Deshpande. Back out. Decker didn't have it. Syhagis 3-ball. No. Sidearm. But Ben Leach to recollect the Bobcats. And a ill-advised cross-court pass, almost knocked towards the other end by Deshpande, but it's out of bounds.
Good hustle play by Deshpande to get in there, try to mess some things up, but not quite working out in his favor. It will temporarily stymie this Bobcat side, though.
Bobcats tried to score in transition there and were shut down by Brandeis as well. We know that's where they're pretty special, is in the turnovers and crossing the court quickly to score on breaks and things like that. They'll look to keep doing it today, as the Brandeis hype might shut them down a little bit in the paint.
And for Bates, David Obasambo and Drummer Primer into the game. Meanwhile, Alex Eckheim into the game as well for the judges. Aduse.
Clever little hook pass there.
Rodel. Brandeis struggling to get inside of this perimeter. Good defense so far from the Bobcats. Aduse forced to pull back. Dribbles, nice fake to get Primer to jump, and it's clean off the glass.
Maybe a little famous last words, but I'd be curious if Brandeis seems to be a bit of a one-trick pony in today's game, and if Bates does manage to shut them down from outside of the arc, are they really going to struggle to put points on the board? Jake, any thoughts?
I think the Brandeis are playing a structure where they're really not trying to get in the middle. But Dushanbe unable to get the three. They're not really trying to force in the middle. They're not trying to break through. They're trying to stay on the perimeter. Their biggest player on their team is Harris, who plays essentially, he's a forward listed, but he plays very much on the perimeter. He plays more like a guard. And with Using on the bench, their big man at this point is really Rodel, who is very much a guard as well, and will try to stick from the perimeter. So they won't try to sort of have a player in the paint causing issues. They instead try to go around and find space, find opportunities to break in or get a nice three ball in.
And a couple plays in a row, sloppy basketball on both sides. Turnovers for base, and then Brandeis missed three. And Rodel drives his knee on it, and they're going to call it an offensive foul for the contact with Ben Leach. So far, very defensive basketball through 8 minutes. Jameer Primer. Rodel with the takeaway on the pass once again.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
Dogan, swing bucket.
8 minutes, a combined now 21 points. Was going to say 19. Scored. Bit of a low point game for sure. Both teams playing solid defense.
I was curious with the judges because they average 93 points a game. Right now, if they continue at the same rate, they'll be lucky to hit the 70s.
Well, I'll be curious how much of that 90-point average is skewed by their 118 and 112 against Leslie and Framingham State. Might be a little higher. It seems otherwise. They're still, though, in the, beating Western New England 85, Colby Sawyer 91, Rhode Island 93, Regis 90, losing to Babson 63.
I think that Babson game is possibly more of an outlier than the other games because of how well they've been able to put up points this season.
Yeah, they seem to be a high-scoring game. I was curious coming into this if Bates can shut down Toby Harris and shut down Elias Rodel on the outside of the arc. Are they going to crumble a little bit and not be able to be the consistent high-point-scoring team that they are?
I mean, so far, while we were talking there, Matthew Cadogan stepped up and splashed a back rim down three-pointer, putting this team at 4 for 8 from three-point. So far, I mean, now it's an 8-point lead, but they've been keeping Brandeis out of the post. They've been shooting well from the outside, the judges have. And meanwhile, on the Bates side, they're over 5 from 3. This is not the superior three-point shooting team on the floor right now, but by no means 4, and over 5 is not representative of what they've done so far this season. Primer. Zach Heim holding him near the logo. Decker to his right. Harris not having any of it. Omsambo drives, nothing. Decker, pump fake, makes Harris jump, and he almost had 3 points. Oh, but the foul looks like on the floor.
Yeah, looks like it was before he took the shot. Referee was very, very aggressively signaling that. So it's going to be a inbound instead of free throws for the Bobcats, who you mentioned the quality of Coin from the free throw line, but they haven't had that good of a season outside of Coin from the free throw line, shooting about a 70%.
Zach Heim. Harris. And they'll call contact. Looks like it's on the help defense with ventilation.
Bobcats fouled with 32. Ben Leach, his first team's third.
And Cy Hodges and Pui will re-enter the game for Bates.
This Bates team has yet to see any points from Sean Coyne today, and that's the type of thing that could have some Brady Coyne have some real negative effects if they don't get their top player on the board soon.
Pui to take the ball out of bounds. Jameer Primer across the timeline. They were down 8-9. Now it's 8-18. They need a solution. Omosambo. Brady Coyne, not an inch of breathing room with Zach Heim. Omosambo. Cy Hodges and Bates cannot seem to get inside. Brandeis on a lockdown.
Yeah, I think, seeing players like Brady Coyne not being on the board yet is problematic, especially considering Bates is only averaging 69.3 points a game, and Brady Coyne has been 15.1 of those when nearly a quarter of your points are averaged by a player and that player can't get on the board, your offense does certainly seem to be in a bit of trouble.
And this time, it's a pass that was aimed for Primer, knocked out by Ryan Weiss.
I'm not sure the movement is strong enough for the Bobcats in this point. They're not moving enough. They're not creating enough space for themselves. A lot of staticness.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow,
Big
float,
shot from David
floater
Osama.
three.
And I mean, listen, maybe not how they drew it up, collecting it way outside, spin, toss up off the glass, but 3 points is 3 points. And now they get a turnover. Perhaps Bates looking for a run. Coin finds Pui wide open from 3. No, everything but net.
Yeah, certainly Bates will take the 3 points there, even if they didn't draw.
Oh my goodness, Babacar Pui. Sorry, Nick, but what a
No,
block.
what a block as well. You're so right. Solid defense for the Bobcats.
And
Answer
Edwards,
is they
nice
can't
double
block it again.
nice double clutch move from Edwards, but yes. Primer, wide open 3, and
Sunk.
Brandeis needing to work on the closeout.
And it's as if
2 and 3 plays.
my criticism has suddenly been answered. They've been moving a lot better. They've been creating space for themselves very well in these past few possessions, getting themselves into opportunities where they can convert. It's been a lot better for the Bobcats these last minute or two.
Brandeis maybe got a little greedy there and stepped off just a bit when they needed to keep the pressure on.
Pui and Rodel now, down low. Outside the Primer. Omasambo knocked away by Weiss. It's a race, and everybody hits the deck. Omasambo wins it. Hustle basketball in Medford. Primer, 1-on-2. Oh! Well, I call that $1 million move with, I mean, maybe a $5 finish, but not what he was going for.
$5 no point finish for sure.
Yep. Oh, but this one, Primer. And this time he sticks to the fundamentals. Easy off the glass.
I think if he didn't make that one, coach should start asking some questions from him. Able to convert that well, had some space, solid layup there.
Edwards around the outside. Harris, circus shot. Both sides of the rim, nothing. Weiss, way outside. No, Harris from way behind. Primer gets it, and it's a turnaround move we remembered.
Undoubtedly the 6'8", I believe, Toby Harris, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 6'8", senior from North Carolina, clearly being an impact player, playing both as a center, as a guard, almost all over the court.
One thing we have been seeing from the Judges team that has really pushed them over the edge is the offensive rebounding side. 6-1 offensive rebounds right now for the Judges. And they get those second chance opportunities. We've seen them hit threes after missing threes. We've seen them now have Harris able to convert there. And those extra chances are such a key part of how they're able to have this big lead that they have right now.
Yeah, both a big lead and an explanation of that super high average points per game.
Cadogan running. Had a 3-on-1, takes it all himself. And story of the game. Babacar Pui chase down block. Toby Harris easy collect and put back.
Yeah, Toby Harris playing a little bit of cleanup there, playing cleanup effectively, getting the pickup, putting it back in, guaranteeing that Brandeis scores points in today's game, and keeping the momentum going to make their lead at 10, score 26-16, 7-15.
He is that player we highlighted coming in. He's on 7 points and 4 rebounds. He's been doing quite well.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things we've seen so far in this game, obviously Brandeis shooting the ball well, but inside the three-point line, so is Bates, 41.2, nothing to scoff at. The big difference is in the rebound category, especially on this side of the court where the Judges are playing offense. They have 8 offensive rebounds. The Bates just 1, giving them the overall advantage of plus 12 on the glass. It's hard to win a game when you're already going that far down in the rebound category just 13 minutes in.
And we talked about this Brandeis side tending to play more from the perimeter, but they have those players like Harris who can get up, get those rebounds, and get them those chances, even if they haven't necessarily been playing a traditional big man in the middle who they look to post up like we haven't really seen from them much. Like Cooley's been doing much more of that. Using is back in who can play a little bit more of that role, though.
Keenan Sparks back and forth on a Duce. O'Leary surveys. Finds Pui down low. Pui. One dribble on Using. Two dribble on Using. Using gets the knockaway. And that is what he does, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is why we need other players from base.
Sorry to cut you off, Jacob.
Go.
Something just happened on the court. Backdoor pass, and Toby Harris with both hands. The rim is still shaking.
Wow. Yeah, I almost forgot what I've said because that was just so spectacular.
And on the other end, it's Syajas with a little bit more of a mundane layup at 2 points to 2.
Hard to follow that one up for
Yeah.
sure.
Twice, pump fake, wide, and front rim, back rim, down rim, bucket.
And we see the judges pulling away again here as those momentum plays can be so huge. Even though Bates got the basket back, it just feels like after a dunk like that, after a 3-point like that, the momentum is all in the judges' hands at this point.
Yeah, Brandeis right now 4 for 9 from outside the arc, but also as well playing well inside, as we've said, with players like Harris. No surprise, the score right now 31-18.
Using yet again showing his defensive prowess, able to cut out the pass and turn it over.
Cadogan, second chance 3-ball, no. And if I am Coach Furbush, I am not happy with that play. Once again, Brandeis trying their luck from deep, can't get it to go, giving up second and third chance looks. I mean, this time they're able to knock it out off Using, but they have to clean it up in the post if they want to get back in this game.
Yeah, undoubtedly, 2 chances for the Bobcats to win that rebound there, and they don't win either of them, even when you do have players like Babacar Pouye, who is definitely, undoubtedly, on the tall side, 6'7", 215, a player that can undoubtedly rebound, but not winning either of those.
I mean, part of why it's so hard to rebound against this Judges team is you've got your big guys who match up with their big guys in the post, and then you look around the perimeter, and it's Toby Harris and Matthew Cadogan, who are 6'5" and 6'5". So when everybody's crashing, it's hard to keep them out. Harris is 6'8". Sorry, I misspoke. Even more.
Yeah, this, starting 5 for the Judges and this playing 5 right now, typically we might see 4 shorter players and then 1 super tall player. The Judges just all tall, all over that 6'3", like 6'4", 6'5" margin.
Yeah, Desponda as
Undoubtedly.
well, 6'5".
Exactly.
You see Rodel come on, 6'6", just a massive squad.
I mean, the shortest player on the court right now is Sam Aduse at 6'1".
Using tried to force it back outside for a second chance, but Coyne was there to get it. He's guarded outside by Aduse. Dribbles to his right. Nice through the leg move. O'Leary, drive, tenacious defense from the Judges. And court is in session. Takeaway on the defensive end.
Traveling violation, Bates ball.
An unfortunate error to really bring down this defensive prowess we've seen from the Judges. They've been able to just stifle this Bates offense. They haven't been able to get the movement they're looking for. They haven't been able to find the passes they've been looking for. And it's too bad when it comes down to a travel or an error on the offensive side that breaks down the momentum you have.
And it's going to be an offensive foul, moving screen on Leach.
And Bates has the same offensive error or not the same, but a similar offensive error that the Judges have, sort of canceling that out.
Yeah, this Bates team right now needs to figure out how to come back with 13 points against the judges and hopefully do so rapidly before this ruling is too permanent.
Harris trying to work on O'Leary. And folks, that is just the case of great defense, better offense. Sean O'Leary's walking down the court thinking, what am I supposed to do on that?
It's a reason why Toby Harris is a preseason All-American. Very, very strong player.
Toby Harris, in some way, shape, or form, almost gives Nikola Jokic vibes, does the fancy things, and it just happens to work.
And that time he steps up at the three and has less luck, but an ambitious shot.
Admittedly, I did speak a little soon, but it's all right.
And there's just some fundamental basketball from Keenan Sparks, and Ben Leach finds him underneath and gets it on the reverse.
And I know it didn't work there, though, but Using again and just being a pest on defense, able to poke the ball out, force Bates to sort of reconsider things. He's just been so strong today.
Using. The freshman now on the grad student down low. Pull up, and once again, it's the same play. Sean O'Leary has held the seniors and grad students on this team out of the post, and they're just hitting step backs on them.
It's got to be demoralizing, especially when the play has just been not quite like O'Leary's just been doing his best and like playing pretty strong defense, but they just keep hitting these step backs, getting those points, able to put it away nicely.
Yeah, I think we're seeing this Brandeis team. I think they came in not necessarily a little hasty, but maybe a little rushed. And I think they're settling into their judges' fundamentals and really putting up scores. Bates not able to respond there. Brandeis wins the rebound.
Rodol draws contact down low on Amasambo. He'll shoot two. We compared his three-point shooting with that of Brady Coyne at the beginning of the game. Rodol not quite as efficient from the line as Coyne. Obviously, though, I suppose nobody is.
At this point, this is actually our first free throws of the game with 17 minutes into the game. Pretty late for that to start happening. It's been a relatively clean game. Not too many fouls, not too many really aggressive dirty plays from either side. So we haven't seen many players come to the line.
I mean, Elias Rodol shooting a little under 700 before this game from the free throw line. Expectation is he'll be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say because I wasn't sure of the stat before, but if he's under 700, he's over 700 from three-point land. So to be shooting better from three than you are from the stripe is a pretty unheard of characteristic in basketball.
Yeah, it's actually a little nuts, like very much insane.
Yeah. Rodol, nice move on Cy Hodges. Down low, double clutch, bucket. Oh, and he sticks around a little bit.
Riddle's definitely feeling himself right now, getting into the game, feeling good.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Sparks, wide open three ball, no good.
That's the story of Bates' day, unfortunately. Have not been able to get those three balls to fall. Still 2 for 9, which has not been very strong for what we expect from them.
And they'll call that a block on the floor from Sparks. Harris turned around, lowered the shoulder, and
Pretty much knocked him over.
If you're finding yourself in that matchup as Keenan Sparks, your best move is to try and get yourself set and kind of take it so it's a foul either way. You'd rather get a block than an open two.
I mean, Keenan Sparks, 6'2", not short by any means. Comes off as a little shorter when standing next to, obviously, the 6'8" Toby Harris.
Who said all things are relative? Was it Einstein?
Yeah.
I think he was talking about Keenan Sparks and Toby Harris. Edwards to the bucket.
That was exactly what he had in mind, I'm sure.
Keenan Sparks is tall, but standing next to Toby Harris.
In the wise words of someone somewhere, there will always be a bigger fish.
It's Qui-Gon Jinn, actually.
Really?
Yep.
1 minute to play in the first half and 1 minute.
Love it. Edwards, 3 ball. And he'll want that one back off the side of the glass.
Deshaunde there takes the charge. I think.
No, I think they saw him move, and I think it'll be a block. But yeah, he
Yeah.
tried to get set. Obviously, the intent is trying to get
Right,
that
yeah.
charge outside the 3.
Substitutes now the game for base number.
But I mean, as a referee, after calling that one on Sparks on the other end of the block, it's kind of hard to call that one a charge. It was close, though.
It's good to see consistency. That's the biggest thing you look for from a referee.
Farmer loses it off his foot. Edwards the other way. He's got trailers. Finds one of them. It's a Duce.
I almost thought Aduse was going to pull up there from the outside, like 4 feet off the ring. I think he definitely thought about it.
In the end, makes the wiser decision to keep possession for his team.
Yeah, time trickling down on this first half, and now Bates has the opportunity to hold on to it. 1 minute. They'll be able to run out the matchup. It's just about the same on shot clock and game clock.
13 seconds, 10 at this point. Score 41-20 in favor of the judges. This judge's ruling seems to be pretty set in stone in this first half that the judges are going to walk out of this one on top.
And Defande swats it off his foot and out of bounds with around a second left. What it runs. So, yes, going into the half, a 21-point Brandeis lead. What can this Bates team do to close the gap in the second half, guys?
They've got to figure out how to deal with Toby Harris. Toby Harris
Stick around. And we're back. Yeah, gentlemen, talking about Bates' struggles in that first half, what they can do to turn it up. In that same vein, I'd like to hear your thoughts on whether they will be able to close this gap. Can we get some final score predictions for the matchup?
You know, as a member of JumboCast, as Jake can attest to, I'm notoriously bad at this. Not predicting well in the past, but based on the Brandeis past scores, I'm going to say they're going to make it to 80 points. I think it's going to be 83 to 65 in favor of the Brandeis judges.
I see this game starting to slow down a bit points-wise from the judges' side. If they continue to pull away like this, they will start sending in their players who get less minutes. They're players who they're more rotation squad. And at that point, I don't see them being able to hit up into those 80 numbers personally, Nick. I think this game will end 72 for the judges and about 55 for the Bobcats. I don't see this getting any closer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on those points, Jake. I think both of you are probably pretty close. The judges' three-point percentage is relatively low, which would lead one to think that they can pick it up in the second half. But that's one of those instances where the stats lie a little bit because there's been a lot of second-look threes that they've got to fall. And I think, as you said, as they start making those substitutions and maybe as Bates sort of figures out the closeout on the defensive end, they're able to draw it a little closer. I'm still calling a Brandeis win, but my final score prediction is 74 to 59. And welcome back to our presentation of Brandeis versus Bates. It's still halftime. We've got more to talk about from that first half. But first, before the game, we didn't really get a chance to go over these teams' seasons so far. Brandeis to this point is 6-1. Jake, tell me about the games they've played.
So Brandeis won their first 5 games, a 6-point victory against Western New England in their first matchup, where Toby Harris did put up 21 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 5 for 6 from the 3. They also outscored Western New England 54-17 with bench points because Harris and Edwards, neither of them did start. Neither did Rodel. A lot of points there. Their next matchup, they played Leslie and won 118-65. That is the second highest points total they've ever recorded, and the 53-point margin is also the second highest they've ever recorded. And it's their highest points scored since 1984 and highest margin since the 50s. So, pretty remarkable matchup there. They beat Colby Sawyer 91-75, Rhode Island College 93-86, Regis 90-61, and then they suffered a loss to Babson 77-63, where they put up a season low of 63 points and only shot 37% from the field goal. From the field. And then they responded brilliantly with a massive victory over Framingham State, 112-64, where they put up a program record 25 three-pointers. They tied the program record in the first half with 17. That's insane. So they're coming to this game having hit a very, very big exclamation mark on a win against Framingham State. And so definitely they came with confidence, and I think we've seen that from them so far in this half.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, you talked about that Babson game. In that game, they got outshot. Babson was really efficient. 47% from 3, 5-20 from the field. Brandeis has won a lot of games by just being out-shooting the team left and right, the other team left and right. And in that case, Babson got hot, and they just couldn't find it. Now, Nick, Bates also, so far, compared to last season, a lot of improvement. They're 3-4 going into this 8th matchup. Tell me about their season so far.
Yeah, so their season so far, they are 3-4. Their 3 wins have come in the last 3 games. Playing the University of Southern Maine, beating them 68-66, beating Thomas 82-67, and then beating the NESCAC School Bowdoin 65-51. Before that, losing to the University of Chicago 53-70, losing to Ohio Wesleyan 78-89, and then also losing to Tustin 76-78. So progress compared to last season if they're able to notch just a single
And welcome back. You are watching JumboCast live from Cousins Gymnasium in Medford, Massachusetts. Through 20 minutes of basketball, the Brandeis University judges lead debates Bobcats 41-20. We went over our predictions for the second half, but a wise man once said, anything is possible. It's a wide gap, but wide gaps have been closed in the history of sports. Anything is possible. In the last game Bates played, they beat Bowdoin by 14. That was an encouraging win in a matchup they lost the last season. This is a team that's felt good through their last 3 games. Obviously, Brandeis, probably stiffer competition than they've been playing through their set so far. But we will see what has happened through the second stanza.
Yes, this is certainly a Bates team that is no stranger to adversity. They've played through comebacks. They have created comebacks of their own. In that matchup, they had against, I believe it was Hassan. They brought it down to they were down by 14 at one point in the second half. Brought it down to 1 with 17 seconds left. Sorry, 2 with 17 seconds left, but could not get it over the line. So they're very much able to get themselves back in the game.
Harris outside. Despande. Meduce. Brandeis running around the outside. Off-ball screen from Meduce. There's another screen for Despande. Slips it through 2 defenders. They're using. Back outside. 3. No. And a really solid possession of basketball winds up fruitless.
And Bates fans will be very happy to see Babacar Pouye back on the court. He did go off with an injury earlier in the first half, but he looks like he is doing quite well, which definitely is a win condition for this Bates team, is Pouye playing well.
Sayadis draws a lot of contact on the drive. He'll shoot 2.
Already a promising start from the Bates team, able to get inside, create an opportunity, create a chance for themselves, and get Sayadis to the line.
Sayadis' first free throw off the mark.
At the line shooting is number 22, Peter Sayadis.
And he gets the second one to go. And that fits exactly with his percentage. He is 500 from the line. He was 5 for 10 coming into this game. He's now 6 for 11. So he's broken 500 as a whole, but he continues to follow that trend.
Meduce 3-ball. Money.
Sorry, 6 for 12. He's still 500.
He does a little hang up the phone move as he gets back on defense. Nice 3 from Meduce. Yeah, Sayadis, I mean, talk about it, Jake. Not a poor shooter. He shoots pretty decent from 3-point, around 35%. But from the free throw line, it has been a struggle so far in this campaign. And Babacar Pouye makes O'Leary try to do a little Odell move on the sideline to get to that one. Can't collect. Meduce pulls it out. Looks like he wants another 3. Using, calling it out for General. Oh! Court vision from Aiden Using. Sees Despande with the back door and finds him on the skip pass.
So well done from this Brandeis team. The movement to find Dushanbe, getting that space and using, like you mentioned, that vision is just so impressive.
I suppose smell of a slip pass. O'Leary, 3-ball, cash.
3 points, O'Leary.
That's another thing this Bobcats team needs to get back in this game. They need to get the 3-ball to fall, and it has been there. That's a really big play. It's a big point, and they need to keep getting that going, keep continuing to get those shots from deep, get those in, and that can get themselves back in this game.
Bates basketball.
Yeah, that's a big ball to have for Bates. They're 24-46 now. Still a 22-point lead for the judges. But if they can get a couple more threes to fall, it seems a little more attainable at the moment, at least for this Bates roster.
Pouye wants it down low with Using on him. Harris knows he might need the double. Outside, Coin, 3 on the run, and no luck. Recollects, though, off a tap from Pui. Back outside, Sparks. It's a pump. Knows he can't touch it. Nice work. Oh! And they'll call a foul on Sparks. He dropped it, knew he couldn't touch it next. Tried to leave it for O'Leary, but in his closeout, they'll call foul.
Almost really solid basketball knowledge to know what to do there and see if you can at least pull the other team away from it for a teammate to grab it.
Harris working on Sparks. Turnaround move. Front rim, back rim, front rim. But he just can't make it count. Going. Dribbles to his right. Has a little bit of space on the Duce. Back outside. O'Leary. Drop down. Pui once again looking for work inside. O'Leary, another 3-ball. Back rim.
Pui trying to get that offensive rebound there. Loses against Using.
Ethan Edwards. Forced to the ground by O'Leary, but holds on to it. Duce using the screen from Using. Using his right. Duce way outside, no such luck. Sai Hodges draws double. And Using does well to get in the lane, but they saw contact.
There's going to be a reach in there from Edwards right as he checks off. Never mind, that was Using. Committing the foul there. One thing we talked about as win conditions for this Bobcats side is we need to see a lot from Coin. And we have definitely not seen that. 0 points in the night. 0 for 4 from the field. 0 for 3 from the field goal line, for the three-point line. He has done 3 rebounds, but if you have a player who has the caliber and the ability to have those big games like we saw from him against Ohio Wesleyan, those 29 points, things like that, if he can put up something of that margin, that's how they contest this game against this Brandeis side. Instead, 0 points from your star player. That's not a very good sign for the Bobcats, and in my opinion, a large part of the reason why they have struggled to really keep themselves in this game.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. And then obviously you take that on top of Bates not playing badly Brandeis not playing badly from the field right now, sitting at 19 for 40 from the field, 6 for 18 from 3. Not a bad combo of points for the Brandeis judges, enough to keep their momentum going. And then obviously, as we talked about earlier, before this game and during, when a player like Coin isn't firing on all cylinders, this Bates team does appear to be in a little bit of trouble.
O'Leary on the outside, gets a little space, goes for the reverse. Using does both to get across and block it, but once again, nobody there to collect. Bates will hold on.
I think there might have been there. Using got the ball, but also got a good bit of arm with that block. I think they're going to call the foul on him there.
That ball comes in for a quick layup, but is not counted.
Once again, it's a call on the floor. And you see the Bobcats kind of saying, let us roll on that one. We had to let them play up.
Interesting to note, Bates is 1 for 9 in their last 9 attempts. They have really struggled to convert.
Sai Hodges makes it 1 for 10, makes it 2 for 11. Nice putback.
And there's the offensive rebounds, and we haven't seen much from Bates so far this game, but Sai Hodges able to get his own rebound, able to get those second chance points, and they need to stop Brandeis from getting those like they are trying to right now.
Both Using and Deshponde getting up there to try and tap that ball in, and neither of them working.
And down on the other end, Sparks had 2 men on him. Using will get the foul.
Brandeis personal foul charge number 33, Nathan Using, his second, team's 4th. Going to line shoot 2 for the Bobcats will be number 5, Keenan Sparks.
On the season, Sparks 8 for 12, shooting about 66% from the free throw line. He's only the second Bobcat to go to the line tonight. Cy Hodges, the other player who was 1 for 2 earlier. Sparks joins his teammate at 1 for 2.
Brandeis working around the outside. Harris working it to the inside, and a nice little scoop finger roll layup on Bowie.
Harris's first points of the half puts him to 13, still leading the game in points scored, although having a bit quieter of a half.
Sparks dribbling around the screen from Bowie. Has a little bit of space. Once again, draws contact inside and will go to the line.
He'll hope to improve on his last performance there, getting 1 for 2. We've already seen more fouls by Brandeis in this half than the last half in this first 5 minutes. So not a good trend from the judges.
And I mean, I think that also reflects a little bit of a change in offensive style from the Bobcats in these first few minutes. Les looks to drive and immediately kick and work around the outside. They're taking it to the rack and looking for contact.
Yeah, I mean, we said at halftime they'd have to change something. Clearly, that's the strategy. Score now within 20. It was within 20 or above 20 earlier in this half. Not moving a lot of ground against the judges, but moving some.
There's Pandey, 3-ball, no. And if you're Bates, Sam Medusa is not somebody you can be letting run right in your lane and collect offensive boards.
Now, it's an interesting matchup right now as Babacar Pouye is obviously marking Harris. And then when they're matched up together, it almost leaves the middle paint unmarked from a rebound point of view for Bates. And Aduse and others are having a bit of a free-for-all.
Boy, now dribbling on Deshpande.
Coin swamped almost right away.
And Sparks, we've seen this play before. Gets the ball, brings it inside, pump fakes, and makes Brandeis foul.
Sparks number 1, Sam Medusa, his third, team 6.
The judges having some conversations with the referees.
This will be number 5.
On that play, if you're Rodel or Harris, you go straight up on the defensive end down low.
Aduse now getting a bit into foul trouble on 3 fouls. Gonna have to take a break. Looks like he's gonna stay on, but there are substitutions lined up for the judges. Possibly he'll be stepping off.
Sparks 2 for 4 walking into that. That makes him 3 for 5 on free throws.
Sparks has shot more free throws than everybody else in the game. Well, after this free throw, shot more free throws than the same amount of free throws, as everyone else in the game combined. So he's certainly been quite familiar with this stripe here on tie court.
And it's all happened, Jake, in the last minute, 30 seconds. Second one falls.
Score differential now under 20 for the Bobcats. Still a tall margin to make up, but that mountain does certainly seem to be shrinking just a bit. Rough pass goes wide there after Elias Rodel looked to Ryan Weiss and couldn't find him.
Point now. Trying to work on Weiss. Gets down low. Turnaround. No, off the rim.
Coin still empty on today's game. His bank account of coins in this matchup sitting at 0.
Harris with another step back 3. I mean, you mentioned Coin, the second leading scorer for this team at around 15 a game. So far, he has not gotten himself on the scorecard, and they will need him to turn it around if they're going to get back in with 13 to play.
And their first leading scorer, Pouye, is only on 2. So players who average 30 a game have provided 2 points to the Bobcats tonight.
Yeah, and you're gonna be curious at that point. Score margin right now 19. Either of those players averaging 10 points a game in this game, and this Bobcats team would be back in it right now. They are not, but add more to it.
Some fundamental back and forth for Bates on the offensive end. A little drop off, kick back, and Saha just gets two. Sychem tries for a step back three, and he does not have the same luck as Toby Harris. Way short.
Crossover, got his opponent crossed up a bit, got him some space, and I think he wanted to try to pull up with that crossover, but unable to get that. We've got a replay here of the three-point shot from Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I said Sychem didn't have Harris's luck. There was maybe no luck involved in Toby Harris's three-point shot. Looks so strong with the ball. He collects in great positioning.
Toby Harris, a player who was very, very strong in his sophomore year. First team All UAA, second team All Region, three-time UAA Player of the Week in that 2022-23 season, averaging 19 points per game and a .44 three-point percentage, which he's even topped this year. That said, last year he only played 3 games. So he's had a bit of a renaissance this year, able to play more in his senior year, and has already been very, very strong so far tonight and the rest of the season. However, in his last 2 matchups, in that Babson game, we talked about them struggling to get points on the board. He had 4 fouls in that matchup. He was in foul trouble, and when your top player is in foul trouble, it does make it a lot harder for them. But he's done a great job tonight of staying out of foul trouble. Only on 1 so far.
Using comes back into the game after that timeout. Clearly, Coach John Thane looking to use him a little more.
He described his season as a renaissance. I would say his three-point shot is art. I'm seeing a flourishing of art and culture on the floor. Hang that mid-range turnaround in the Louvre.
I would say he's certainly a renaissance man, someone who can rebound, who can shoot, who can really do everything on the court.
Wow. Hidogan now takes it out of bounds. Great wordplay, Jake.
We are funny, guys. We are funny.
Sychem to the side. And we're so humble, too. Hot coming down the court. Turn around. O'Leary. Leach has using on him. Wants to pass out. O'Leary had that 3 earlier, and since then can't make him count.
Bobcats do get the offensive rebound there. That's progress for them.
Oh, Leach! And they'll call it a travel
Weird.
on his rotation around that right foot. Nice finish, but won't count for anything.
And that would have been the 3rd foul on Using. If he was able to get through, he would have likely been fouled there. So, unfortunate. And David, something you were mentioning coming in here, if we were going to see Mayan coming in, and he is checking in now. A little bit more size to this Bates side. He doesn't get much minutes in, but he is 6'8". One of the few players on the court who can match the height of Harris, who is not on the court right now, but when on the court will be standing at the same height as Mayan.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, only 45 minutes on the season, but in terms of matchup, I think Mayan definitely belongs on this crew on the court. If you have 2 guys of sort of him and Pui's height down low, or Leach's height, then you can sort of start to control a team that sends 5 guys to the class.
Interesting to note, though, in that case, he was matched up on, I believe that was Edwards of the Judges, and that is not a matchup that bodes well for him. Edwards, a quick player who does not have the height that Mayan has, able to get around him and draw the foul.
Coin drew out of contact, but it was from his own guy. Fortunately, they'll recollect. Sai Hodges. Back out the coin.
Point leader for the Bobcats right now is Sai Hodges.
And Coin gets on the board. His first 2 points of the game come 30 minutes into it. He'll need to really step up and have a very strong showing in his last 10 minutes if he wants to get close to his average.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to take the lid off the basket, see that first shot go in before you can find your rhythm. Coin, we'll see if he can have an impact these next 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hopefully for Coin, going to need to have a big impact if Bates wants to really bring themselves back into this game. Good defensive or offensive rebound for them there.
Mayan coming in and having an impact, getting the offensive rebound, but they're unable to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch this Brandeis team too. They seem to be a relatively low mistake squad as well. And we know that this is a Bates team that will capitalize on mistakes, but when you're Brandeis and you're just not making much of them.
And there's our 70% three-point shooter. His only second attempt from the three-point line this game, but he does convert it. His first one was just seconds earlier.
As well, he was not on the line there. He was maybe 3 feet outside of it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a clean pull-up from Roto. I think a pin dropping would have made more noise than that net just fell through. I mean, that is a gorgeous shot from the outside. He hasn't done that a lot today, but that's an example of what he's capable of.
We often say nothing but net. I don't even know if that hit the net.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it was just such a perfect shot. And that's why we know he is that really high quality, high caliber three-point shooter. And he is coming to this game the second most attempts from three on the squad. But today he's only on 2. Deshbande leading the team in attempts, but Harris the only player on the side to make more than 1 three-pointer. That said, they are still shooting in a pretty solid 34% clip. The Bobcats, on the other hand, 3 for 16 at an 18% clip. Certainly not what they would be liking to have.
Now the lineup on the board for the judges. Duce and Edwards on the outside, along with Weiss, Harris, and down low, Using. Roto after that three, hitting the bench. Using tries to three-ball himself. Money! And he impacts every aspect of the game. That's usually not one that he's usually known for, but that is splash from outside. It is raining, it is pouring.
Brandeis, maybe not a team of Renaissance men, but instead a Renaissance team, really managing to do it all.
Yeah, Using only averaging 3 points per game. We mentioned having those impacts in other capacities, but still, he's already passed that mark tonight.
Yeah. Clearly, Bates trying to close out right now on the outside, doing anything they can to now try and capitalize in transition. Can they? The answer is we're not exactly in transition anymore.
Man left wide open in the mid-range and wide short of the basket. But when Weiss collected, he had a foot on the line. Refs watch out for those.
We've got quite the crowd tonight, considering the Jumbos are not playing tonight. It is a good turnout from Waltham and Lewiston. Fans coming to watch the game. It's always fun to see. Also, we got the entire Rochester team sitting on the bench out there. They will play Bates tomorrow here on JumboCast, I believe at 2:30. Be sure to tune in for that. And the judges will take on the Jumbos tomorrow at 4:30. Another game certainly worth watching. The judges leading right now. The Jumbos did defeat the Rochester side earlier, so could be a possible matchup of the 2 victors in the UAA Challenge.
Yeah, definitely right on that one. I think the Jumbos Brandeis game will be an interesting one tomorrow. Both teams with size, both teams playing well right now. I will undoubtedly be curious.
I will undoubtedly be watching as well. It should be a great game.
That is true. Watching, calling, a bit of both.
Yeah, if you love Nick, another reason to watch that game and get to hear Nick's voice again.
I'll be tuning in.
Thanks, David. I appreciate it. At least someone. I do say sink that free throw to bring himself right now. That was his first in the game, I do believe.
That was his first. That was Edwards, actually, the free throw line.
My apologies.
Is
called the wrong number.
now at 8 points. His first free throw of the game.
Was his first 1 for 1. Can he go 2 for 2? The answer is yes. Brandeis goes to 59 on the scoreboard.
O'Leary on the screen. Down low, Babacar Pui, turnaround. And he can't make it count. Looking to give Harris a bit of his own medicine there, but no such luck. Using. What do you say? Drop down pass to Using. Back outside. Pump fake, pump fake, pump fake. Using. Weiss, 3 ball. No.
Weiss can't find it. Quick to get back on defense. Bates looks to capitalize in transition again, though. Brandeis managing to slow him down, knowing where Bates does well, and trying to shut down that aspect of their offense. Always a sign of a good team and a good coach to know what the team needs to focus on.
Gonna be foul there on Weiss as the judges are now up to 8 fouls. So the Bobcats are in the bonus. So it will be 1-1 here for Decker.
As well, in comes Elias Rodel and Deshpande. Jai Deshpande.
Yeah, now, with the exception of Ruddle, who sort of plays the 6-man in for Using, this is the starting lineup for Brandeis. Up 24 with 7 minutes to play.
Certainly not what I expected with my prediction. I expected to see a little bit more rotation, but maybe a few minutes more we'll see that happening. Bobcats still within 23. They still got a chance.
Score is also
Critical margin.
at this point 59-36. I may have, as checks out with historical record, called my prediction a little high.
Yeah, maybe at 24 they'll decide to switch it up. Although a lot of guys on this bench, in fairness, in foul trouble now. So to keep that same lineup in, perhaps not feasible as they wind down the time here.
As you mentioned, foul trouble. There are 2 judges currently in foul trouble. That is Aduese with 3 personal fouls alongside Using with 3 personal fouls. Using is the only member of that starting lineup who's not on the court right now. Instead, Rodel's on.
Harris makes that free throw.
Meanwhile, for the Bobcats, O'Leary and Pui, the only starters on the floor. Primer and Omosambo and Decker getting their minutes off the bench. Primer on Deshpande. Inside to Pui. Roto on his back. Drives the shoulder, and it's clean off glass. Edwards around the screen as Riddle.
I will say, in credit to this Bobcats team, while this lead has been big that the judges have had, the Bobcats have never really let it wander outside of that 25 margin. At the moment, it's 23. They've got it down to 16.
Primer to the bucket, gets the ball. And a couple nice possessions on the offensive end now for Bates. 6 minutes to go up to see if it's a case of too little, too late.
Took the words right out of my mouth, David.
Harris inside, contact, don't matter. Toby Harris using the strong drive. He'll have a chance to make it 3.
Harris at the moment, 2 for 2 on free throws. My apologies. And now we'll look to put more up. Shooting 1, if he makes, he will be 3 for 3. With a whopping 20 points on the game right now.
Make it 21. Harris has been certainly a leading light for this judges' side.
I mean, 20 points kind of does another day in the life for Toby Harris, averaging 18.5 on the season. Something we know he's capable of. This time, Decker on the other end with a nice pull-up from the mid-range.
You know, I will say for this Brandeis team, if they're the judges, Toby Harris is undoubtedly the hammer. Managing
ball
to shut down this Bobcat squad.
I was going to say he should be on the Supreme Court, but different interpretations.
He is the gavel.
Ah, gavel. I was looking for the word and couldn't find it.
I got you.
Said hammer. Hammer didn't feel right.
I knew what you meant. Rodel, way up, and he got a little contact from Bowie. Nice finish. And as we've said, through the second half, this lead is kind of just stuck right around 20-25, back and forth basketball.
Primer has been having a quiet, nice stretch in this last bit. He's 3 for 4 in his last 4 shots. This time drawing the foul, getting himself to the line. He's certainly been a bright spot on this Bobcats side in this second part of the second half.
Couple of players looking to check in for Brandeis. One of them is Kyle Walters, and the other is Matthew Cadogan.
Cadogan started the game off very strong, but went off with a little bit of a limp. Good to see him back on the court.
Out comes Toby Harris and Ethan Edwards.
Imagine this will be the last we'll see of both of them. Two players who've had great nights tonight. 9 and 21 points for the two of them.
Yeah, I will say in favor of this Brandeis squad, they definitely have been distributing the goods a bit outside of Harris. Players at 5, players at 9, 7, 11, and 3 points respectively.
Yeah, 22 lead with 4 minutes 50 seconds remaining. Everybody's doing it. This Brandeis team.
Yeah, this Brandeis team has been quite strong today. Looking at the rebounding story, it's not quite as stark as it was in that first half. It is currently 37 to 25 rebounding wise, and the Bobcats have done remarkably well offensive rebounding wise. They're up to 8 to 12 is the difference between the two of them, instead of the much larger gap we saw at halftime. So they have certainly been better about that in the second half. Wonder if that was something that was stressed by Coach Burbush, but still too little too late, it seems like, for the Bobcats at this point.
I will say another impressive stat from this Brandeis team. Their team perfect from the free throw line today. Only 7 shots, but 7 perfect ones nonetheless. In contrast, the Bobcats sitting 9 for 14 at 64%. Still over 50, so not horrendous, but not by any means great either.
For those of you at home who enjoy fun coincidences, the last 2 years, the games have ended 68 to 58. This year, it would be surprising if it was the Bobcats went on a 14 to 2 run to get to that point, but anything can happen at this point.
Yeah, Jake, still within the realm of possibility. Not entirely likely with this Judges team on the floor, but
They've gone out in a full court press.
and for Bates now, I mean, nothing to lose. Do you have a great chance like a 20-point gap? No, but if you're trying to figure out your defensive sets and your full court press against star competition, this is a great chance to get those runs in, and if it works, you could be looking at a comeback.
Yeah, for Bates right now, I mean, the advice of head coach Furbush has to be to just throw the kitchen sink at the Judges and see what sticks.
And for those keeping track at home, the Bobcats are now in the bonus. Sorry, the Judges are now in the bonus. Bobcats reached 7 fouls, so that's why we saw Adwese at the line.
And that's what sticks. Bull Decker 3-ball is clean as something that's really clean.
The sink.
The sink.
I like the extended metaphor here.
Maybe your sink.
That might be a good point.
Walters 3, and that's what we call not clean, not dirty. Caught some rim, but the scoreboard doesn't care. 3 points.
More like possibly my sink.
I mean, I feel like if I'm going to have a sink thrown at me, I'd better hope it's a clean one.
I would just rather skip the whole thing altogether. Omasambo. Primer, 3-ball. Oh my goodness. And on both ends, it is raining threes in Bedford.
Primer on fire now. He's up to 12 points. He now leads the Bobcats in points. He's been very strong off the bench, especially in the second half.
Yeah, Primer really has had a clean and consistent second half. managing to rally the team around and get some points going.
Brandeis is at the 101 bonus, going to launch again, number 1, Sam Aduse.
Sam Aduse going to the line right now for Brandeis, currently shooting
0 for 1
from the free throw line.
He was at the line about a minute ago.
Makes himself 1 for 2.
Aduse earns the bonus.
Very clear relief on Sam Aduse's face. Didn't necessarily follow the cleanest fashion, but got it to work.
Like David said just a few moments ago, points are points. The scoreboard, it does not care how it went in. Score now 71 to 50 out of last year's coincidence.
For Shan.
And there will be a reach in from behind, and Aduse will go to the bench in favor of Enrique Perez.
Sam Aduse hits 4. Teams 10. Hits the
4 fouls.
Hits the
Coach Bain left no choice. Oh, no, well, he can't go out until after the first free throw. Omosambo catches in.
I do say it, 4 fouls, likely the end of him today.
Lincoln Ryback back into the game for the Bobcats.
He's one of 2 players at that 4 foul mark, as Leach for the Bobcats also at 4 fouls.
Walters and Perez now in his first minutes will bring the ball up.
Enrique Perez, a junior from Florida. Nice to pick up his first minutes of this matchup. And at the moment, not sure on the season, he has had 35 minutes this season.
Ryback board off the Walters miss. Timer driving. Fake. Draws 2. Holds onto it. Outside. Omosambo. It's a pump fake. 2-on-1 in the mid-range. No, his own rebound. David Omosambo goes up against the Giants and gets it.
Primer, everything's been falling for him in these past few minutes, but that one just a little bit too much to ask for.
Cadogan's pass, tipped by Primer. 2.5 remaining. Decker. Omosambo spinning around on Perez. Can't get it to fall. Long.
In that case, it is Elias Rodel that will collect.
Substitutions.
More subs come in for the judges.
That will be Jasper Schindler from Braunschweig, Germany, and Raja Coleman from Sickerville, New Jersey.
Yeah, Coach Bain seeing only a little over 2 minutes remaining. This game is split away, and he wants to call a timeout to get some of his rotation guys minutes. Practice some sets against competition. Weiss. Schindler.
It's going to be a foul on the Bobcats off the ball. Going to send Walters to the line here. They are now in the double bonus, so he will take both shots.
Bates, like the same strategy, Garvin McLaughlin and Waller in the lineup. Enrique Perez wins a rebound over 3 guys, and the putback is good off the short rip, and the bench loves it.
Correction, they're still in the single bonus. It's 1 more foul, and they will be in the double bonus. Was looking at the foul count for the judges.
Ryback gets a screen. Omosambo working on Perez. Primer and Coleman now. Swing back move. Tie court 3. No.
Primer almost had him. Defender fell for that one. Hook, line, and sinker. But Primer couldn't finish the second half of that. Put in the 3.
Schindler, 3-ball. Back iron, just a little too much juice.
Last year in the UAA Challenge, the UAA certainly were the stronger forces, where both Brandeis and Emory defeated Bates and Colby. This year, we've seen a tough defeat Rochester already, but it looks like the UAA may strike back at the NESCAC now, taking a game of their own. So tomorrow, we can see what the difference will be between these two sides.
Yeah, this would be the second NESCAC team that Brandeis has managed to knock down this season. No, I lied. Spoke wrong. Bates beat Bowdoin. Brandeis did not.
That Bates matchup is not counting as their conference matchup, as they will face later this season. So, although they've played already, they both still have a 0-0 NESCAC record.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about that strong UAA conference. This Brandeis team, I mean, looking really good right now. They played really well out of conference last season. They're 14-11, but in the conference, they're 5-9, putting in at 6 out of the 8 teams on that conference that spans pretty much the whole Northeast coast. Schindler makes Lauer jump and lays it in nicely.
When you got a conference with teams of the quality of like Case Western Reserve, Emory, WashU, UChicago, there's a lot of teams that are quite scary to face up with that the judges were unable to defeat last year.
I mean, yeah, Jake, they've come into this season 6-1, but they came into last season 9-2. And, you know, historically, all of their struggles have come in conference play. So the verdict is still out a little bit on whether or not they will see improvement this year.
Rather similar to the Jumbo's record last year as well, where they entered NESCAC play with a very, very strong record and did not perform as well, going 5-5 in NESCAC play. So both conferences, the UA and the NESCAC, are two conferences that tend to be some of the strongest in pretty much every sport. A lot of very strong, both academic and athletic schools in these conferences.
Yeah, you know, this is a Bates team that also really struggled in conference last year, struggled in the season as a whole, going 3-21, but not picking up a single win in the NESCAC conference last year, going 0-10, hoping to rectify that this year, beating Bowdoin. If I am head coach Furbush, I am praying that my Bates squad can at least knock down Bowdoin again to rectify the record and make it better than last year.
Weiss trying to work on Ryback in the post. No such luck.
Under 30.
Walters wide open. Short. Schindler tried to keep it in.
Bates basketball.
No chance.
Shot clock's turned off as Bates will likely have the last possession here.
22 left in the game for this Bates Bobcats team. Score at the moment 76-53. Like we've said already, the Bobcats will take on another
Rochester tomorrow.
Rochester, thank you very much. And the Brandeis judges will take on the Tough Jumbos here in Cousins Gymnasium. That one will do it 76-55 in favor of Brandeis.
Yeah, as time expires, stayed even. They were up 21 in the first half, 41-20. They end the game up 76-55. Tomorrow, we will see the reverse of the two matchups we saw today. Bates will face off against Rochester, and Brandeis will face off against the Jumbos. Today, he sentenced Bates to a loss. That'll go on their permanent record. Now they're 3-5. We'll see what happens in their hearing tomorrow with the home Jumbos. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. Any final thoughts?
I think this was a pretty thorough victory from the judges. They've been very strong, really, across the board. Very powerful players like Harris, like Rodel, and I've just been very impressed by them in general. I'll be very curious to see how they do against the Jumbos tomorrow.
Yeah, today for sure. The judges ruling in favor of the judges today. Question is, will it be in favor of the Jumbos tomorrow? Wait and see. Back on JumboCast tomorrow.
Before we go, I'd like to thank my director, Riley Daniel, and Nick Dorr and Jacob Posse for joining me on the mic. Stick around, as we said, 2 more games of enjoyable basketball to come.